Hey there friends, welcome to my channel. This is Dominique from the Pixie Planner. Thank you so much for joining me in another video. I have here my Budget by Paycheck workbook from the Budget Mom, and I'm going to be setting up my second paycheck. And I do have a full walkthrough of this binder system, so I will leave it linked in the cards to the video so you can take a closer look at what is all included. But I thought, since I did a couple weeks ago my first paycheck for February, I would go ahead and do my setup for budgeting my second paycheck for February. I find it super helpful when watching some budget videos to see, you know, not only how people use the budget system, but also just to see that everyone is human. We all, you know, make mistakes, we'll fall through on following the budget, and it's just a normal process. And so I find it very helpful, and I thought I would go ahead and share my own struggles with you guys. So opening up, we're gonna go straight to February here. And so I have in pink the highlighted areas that I pay with my second paycheck. Now this is pink up here because that follows through from what I had in January for my paycheck. So it carries over to these couple of bills the first week of February. So all of this is caught up with, and now we're here for my second paycheck, and I don't have quite as many bills at the end of this month of February, but I still need to keep in account the bills that I have the first week of March, so these will also be paid with this second paycheck. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up my bill tracker here. This is for the first week. So I did the breakdown on that last video for my budget system for my first paycheck. So now we're gonna go ahead and do the breakdown for the second paycheck. This sticky note I just carry over from each pay period as a reminder. So the Budget Mom, what she does, she recommends that each paycheck you take $40 to put into your checking account as a cushion, because every dollar is supposed to be accounted for. Ultimately, you are bringing your checking account to zero. Now that is super nerve-wracking, and I know I'm not comfortable with it, so I love the idea of having a cushion of about $1,000 in the checking account for those, you know, bills that maybe were more than expected, or any type of, you know, last minute online purchase that you just can't purchase in person, things like that. So I also make sure to include the savings that I'm wanting to put in to my emergency account into my monthly bills. So I treat that like a bill. So there's just no excuse for me not to put away for savings. So what I'm going to start with is just listing out all the bills that I have that I'm going to be paying with this second paycheck. And so these are non-negotiable, and I will go ahead and do that. Okay, so I've gone ahead and listed the last two bills that I have here in February, which are my propane bill and my Acorn account. And then I checked the bills that I have the first week of March, which are my mortgage, and even though my X-ray bill isn't due until my next pay period, I will pay it ahead of time. So I have these two bills that I added into the tracker as well. So that brings us to the cushion, which is $40. And for savings this pay period, I'm gonna be putting $100. So one thing to mention, I did not write in my income amount just yet because I'll keep that private, but I would go ahead and write my total income amount from that second paycheck plus whatever is left over from my checking account from the first paycheck. So I'm taking all the money from my checking account and this is what I'm putting in the income amount. And that way, whatever I have left, so I will go ahead and total this up here, but whatever I have left, I can go ahead and dedicate to my envelopes since I am a cash spender. So let me go ahead and total all of this up and then we will jump into how I'm going to be doing my cash envelopes for the next 2 weeks. Okay, so I went ahead and took the total of all of this and put this into the actual amount. Now, I just tend to usually use the actual amount section here because I know exactly what that bill is going to be. I'm not necessarily budgeting for it because this is what it's going to be no matter what. And as far as the cushion and savings, I know exactly what I want to be putting. So I just write under the actual section. So this gives me $489.82 left over, and that can go for into my cash envelopes. Now for my cash envelopes, I'll show you here. This is my sections that I like to use, and so I have groceries, fun, health, beauty, Maggie, gas, and miscellaneous. Now for the next 2 weeks, I am going to be adding hobbies on there because these sections are areas where I might have the tendency to overspend. I'm gonna transfer these over to my new tracker. Okay, so here are my envelopes that I'm going to be using. So my last pay period, I overestimated with my amount that I wanted to have on hand for our dog Maggie, and I also overestimated for our groceries. So I do have money left in those envelopes. So that amount of money I have left, I'm just going to roll it over for this next 2 weeks coming up. So I won't be needing quite as much money in these areas. And then as far as this total amount goes, whatever I have left over after dividing it up into each envelope, I'm gonna go ahead and put that leftover amount towards my emergency fund that I'm working on building. I have a goal of building my emergency fund to $10,000 this next year, and I have to update this still too. I have made some more progress, which I'm super excited about, but my goal is $10,000. So any of those leftovers that I have from each pay period, I do dedicate that to my emergency fund. So what I'm gonna end up doing for dividing these sections up, I am pretty much looking at my last tracker and seeing which areas I overestimated, underestimated, or was right on. I want to stick with gas, miscellaneous, still those same amounts because I really don't have to fill up that much. Miscellaneous, I will use like if I need to go quickly, like buy some Tylenol or something at the grocery store. If it's for those one little item things, I'll just go ahead and put that under miscellaneous. My health and beauty, I will use for my prescription medication, doctor appointments, hair appointments, those kind of areas. So what I'll do for health and beauty, I did overestimate that as well. So I'm just gonna dedicate $50. For hobbies, now for the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna allow myself $40. And I actually don't even wanna touch that, but I am gonna go ahead and set an amount for myself just in case. I do have a goal of not even touching that because I think I did enough damage this month. As for Maggie, I'm gonna go ahead and dedicate $100. For fun money, I'm gonna dedicate $40. And for groceries, I'm gonna go ahead for $100. So I just kind of knocked down some of the areas. Like I had mentioned, my groceries, I did $150. Last time for Maggie, I did $200. So that was definitely a little bit more than necessary. So I'm gonna go ahead and calculate all of this up and subtract it by the leftover amount, and that will give me how much I'm gonna be putting towards my emergency account. So it totals up $360, and then my leftover amount is $129.82. So that amount is gonna go in the leftover section. So I'm just gonna transfer that over here, and this is what I will end up putting in my emergency savings. So from this paycheck, I have went ahead and accounted for every dollar, nickel, dime, penny. I went ahead and made sure that I gave every dollar a purpose. So from here, what I'm gonna do is now fill out my cash envelope breakdown. So I'm carrying all of this and putting this under my paycheck number 2. I went ahead and I did this for the first paycheck and used my handy dandy cutout section to give that to the teller. And it was super easy because that way I have exactly how much I want of each, dollar amount, whether it's 5s, 10s, 20s, 50s, 100s, and it just made it so much easier. So what I'm gonna do is the same thing for my second paycheck. Gonna carry all of this over. Okay, so again, what I have, let me double check here. Okay, so I have $100 for groceries, $40 for fun money, the health and beauty, I have $50, Maggie, I have $100, gas $20, hobbies $40, miscellaneous $10. So again, that totals $360. So now I'm gonna come over to this section and figure out how I want the amounts broken down. I just noticed, forgot that S there. Okay, so I prefer to have larger bills. That way I'm less likely to spend that money. It's a lot harder to hand over a $100 bill than it is, a couple of 20s. So I'm gonna go ahead and use $100 bill for groceries. I'm gonna do 2 20s for fun money. I'm gonna do 2 20s and 1 10 for health and beauty. For Maggie, I'm gonna do 100, gas 120, hobbies 2 20s, miscellaneous 1 10. And then I go ahead and I just total up in each section how much I'm gonna actually need. So 2, 4, 6, we've got 7, 2. Okay, so I am going to end up needing 2 10s, 7 20s, and 2 100s. And that brings the total to the 360. So I will just cut this portion out and again, hand it to the teller. So that is the breakdown for my second paycheck. So just giving you a quick glimpse again of the bill tracker breakdown. The the main kind of point to take with you is you want to have every dollar accounted for. There should be no empty spaces in your budget. That way you are guaranteed to really stay on track and know exactly how you are spending your money and where you need to actually, whip yourself into shape. And mine happens to be hobbies. So if you're enjoying these budget videos, please give me a thumbs up and comment down below if you are interested in seeing more of these. I would certainly enjoy doing these setups each pay period and just kind of show you like my struggles and my accomplishments. I think it's so important to share that because no one is perfect at their budgeting, and I think it's important to not be too hard on yourself and give yourself a little bit of grace if you mess up here and there. So if you are enjoying these, again, give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you again very soon in my next video. Bye.